Hello, my friend Rodney Walker here from Grant Center USA. Happy to have this Friday to connect with you and to share some information with you that can help you to secure more grant funding. We've been talking every day this entire month about how to get funding. I've been sharing with you some very practical ways of doing it. Today, I have another wonderful tip that I'm gonna be sharing with you. And this tip is gonna help you to do a better job of getting funded. It's gonna help you to do a better job of telling your story. You see, a part of what we're doing here, let me just grab a seat real quickly. A part of what we're doing here is helping you to get your message out, your story. And I want to say hello to my good friend, Lisa. Thank you for faithfully joining us every single day. I really appreciate it. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you, looking at the big why. Now, we have about 5 big ones that we always have to look at. We have to look at the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and we can throw a 6th one in if we wanted to, the how, which is also very important. But today, I'm going to be talking to you about the importance of your why. Your organization has a why that you need to get out. And I want to really emphasize the importance of you thinking about your why as it relates to you preparing effective grant proposals. You see, the more you're able to get your grant proposals situated where you have those things, where you share the who, what, when, where, why, and how, the better you can do that, the more likely you are to get funded. But today we're going to focus solely on the why. Now, what is your organization's why? Have you thought about that? And what I really want to encourage you to do is I want to encourage you to think about that why and get it out on paper. Now, we want to express this why in more than just one way. Now, one way to do it is on paper because you're going to have it in your proposal, but I'm going to really be encouraging you to move beyond that, to not just have it on paper, but to look at other ways that you can get that message out that shares your why, okay? For instance, think about the why of why you and your organization is doing what it's doing. What are you doing it and why are you doing it, okay? That's the message that we're going to be trying to get out because that's the message that funders want to know. They want to know your big why, okay? And if you can do a good job of explaining your why, then it's going to attract more funding. If you don't do a good job of explaining your organization's why, guess what? You're going to be asking me, Rodney, why am I not getting funded? And I'm going to say, hey, tell me about that why. Because again, a part of what's going to attract more funders to you, what's going to attract them to want to support you, is they're going to be wanting to know the why. Now, how does this reflect in your grant proposal? Well, it reflects in your grant proposal a number of ways, okay? Let's just grab a seat and let's talk about this a little bit more because I think this issue is a real important issue and you want to definitely make sure that you get it covered and addressed. Get a little light on in this place and then let's talk about this thing. So your why. Now, how does this reflect inside of your actual grant proposal? Okay. Now, if you had a proposal, most funders are going to be wanting to know one thing. Let me tell you what they're going to want to know. They're going to want to know, where did you come from? How did you get here? Okay. And that part of your history is very important to them because they want to see the road that led you to being where you are for you doing what you're doing today. And they want to see that road, but not only do they want to see that road, they want to know what placed you on that road. Why are you doing what you're doing? Okay? So I want to encourage you to think about that. And then not only think about it, I want to really encourage you to express that in writing. What's your why? And if you're looking right now, maybe you can put your why down below. I look forward to getting a chance to read it, to seeing more and discovering more about you and your organization. So we want to get our why out, okay? Now, for instance, why am I doing what I do? Okay, I had to get that story out and I continuously get that story out to let more people know, hey, this is Rodney's big why. Now, let me share with you real quickly one big why, and then I want to tell you about something that happened today that reminded me of why I do what I do. In fact, I want to stand up. Do you mind if I stand up a little bit and just walk around? My name is Rodney Walker, right? You know, I walk for a reason. I like the walking. But here's the thing. When we think about this whole deal of being a grant writer and the why, here's something that's really important. My why came about, and some of you may know this story, but I never forget, I think I was a 10th grader or 11th grader. I think I was in 11th grade. I was at Hillcrest High School back in good old Dallas, Texas. And never forget, I had taken some summer classes just to get ahead. And I had one of my guidance counselors who I went to meet with, and I told her, hey, I'm interested in possibly taking the advanced writing English class, and I want to enroll. I never forget this. Lisa, this is what she did. She walked me down to the room to see the students, and she said, look in that classroom. And this is what I did. I did just like this. I looked in, and as I looked inside the classroom, there were no other students in that particular classroom that had my wonderful melon pigmentation, okay? So she said, as she looked at me, she said, do you think you can compete with these students? And at the time, I didn't have the confidence level that I have now. At the time, I'm thinking, hey, here's my guidance counselor, and this is the guidance that she's given me, and maybe she doesn't think I can compete in this area, and maybe I can. Okay, so I did not, as a result of her guidance, and thank you very much, Ms. Weinberg, I did not at that time enroll in that advanced class to get that advanced learning. And what happened as a result, I'll tell you, what happened as a result, I started cruising, just cruising, barely getting by, doing just whatever. Because at the time, that impacted my psyche. And again, as somebody who really didn't know that much at the time, being a youngster, it impacted my psyche, and then it made me, or it didn't make me, I chose to at the time to lower my standards and just started kind of getting through. Well, later on, as I matured and grew up and started getting a better understanding of how all this stuff worked in this world, I realized that that situation I could use to make me bitter, or I could use that situation to make me better. I chose to use that situation as motivation to make me better. And now I have the proud honor of having one of the top grant development training programs nationwide. So the lady who at the time said, hey, Rodney, do you think you can compete in this room? It was just a basic English class. And it was an advanced AP one, but do you think you compete? And now here it is. I have the pleasure of being able to help numerous organizations nationwide, literally worldwide, to be truthful, to get funded. So I use it as motivation. Now, to this day, some of what I do is a part connected with that story of now helping others who maybe thought or think at this time that, hey, they can't do what they're doing. And I come in and I serve as motivation to let them know, yes, you can. Indeed, you can. So that's some of my why. Now, if you want to hear more of my why, feel free to go over to the road to getting funded, and you can hear some more of my story. But it's important for your organization to get your organizational story out so that others know what you're about and why you are doing what you're doing. I want to encourage you to do a number of things. I want to first encourage you to get it out on paper. Second, I want to also encourage you to get it out into multiple forms, maybe bite-sized pieces, such as short stories that you place on Instagram, places like Facebook, other social media accounts, maybe even on YouTube, sometime maybe through video, but get it out in multiple forms so that when the funder comes to look to see who you are, what you're about, when they go to your website, they're able to hear and know your why. Okay, now, last thing before I get ready to leave, I had today another thing that reminded me of my why. I had this lady who called me today. Well, actually, I called her. She made a purchase today, and like I sometimes will do, I reached out to her just to say thank you for making a purchase. And when I reached out to her today, I asked her, like, hey, tell me more about what you're doing and some of your why. And she told me what she was doing, and when I tell you, it really touched me. This was a lady named Brenda, and Brenda made mention that she was doing what she was doing, which is she started like a nonprofit organization, and this nonprofit organization is working to help to lower the whole death rate of young black males who are getting shot down, homicide in the Wisconsin area. Now, her son was actually shot and murdered, and that was some of her why. Her why literally touched my heart. And as I heard what she was doing, I said, you know what? I have the abilities to help people get funded, okay? I have the abilities to help them to learn the best ways to go and getting funded. And she approached me in such a way where she wasn't coming with her hands out just asking, but she was investing into herself. And that was very powerful to me because she was making a decision to invest into herself. And as I saw her investing into herself, I said, hey, listen, let me find out what she's doing. And as a result of her why drew me in and encouraged me to say, hey, help this lady. So we're gonna be connecting, and I'm looking forward to sharing more of her story, of what she's doing, and then also more of her journey, because we're gonna help her to get funded. And as we help her to get funded, hopefully it will serve as a source of encouragement for you and others. Some of you received my email today about another young man who is working to get into school. His why touched my heart as well. Again, if you haven't seen that video, you can see that video of a young man that we're helping out to get scholarships. Why is that so important? I remember when somebody was there for me, and I received numerous scholarships to help me to be where I am at today. So a part of what I'm saying is I'm paying it forward, and that's some of my why. What's your why today, okay? Why don't you let me know a little bit more about what your why is, and I look forward to reading it. Put it right below, and then remember, we're gonna be connecting in this entire month of January to continue to empower you with some insight that can help you to become better and better in doing what you're doing so that you can attract more funds. I want to encourage you to be brave, be bold, and be brilliant. I also want to encourage you to take charge. If you haven't had the opportunity yet to go over to learn more about our Get Funded Inner Circle, I want to encourage you to do so, because this is a global community that I'm going to be partnering with at an in-depth level. And at the end of this month, we won't be having these times right here together. We'll be doing more of that with our Get Funded Inner Circle, and I hope that you will consider joining. Go look over at grantcentralusa.com, look for the link that says coaching, or simply go to getfundedinnercircle.com. And I look forward to hopefully seeing and welcoming you into our welcome community. All right, all the best. Remember, be brave, be bold, be brilliant, take charge. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. All the best.